Welcome to another Journey Live. I hope you're having an amazing evening and join us in Miami TV once again. ¿Cómo están? Muy buenas noches, amigos. Estamos en vivo en directo nuevamente desde las hermosas selvas de Tulum. Y si quieren interactuar con nosotros, ya saben de que pueden hacerlo. El chat que estamos leyendo ahora es el de YouTube y los suscriptores de miamitvhd.com. El día de hoy es agosto 20 del 2025, pero como sabemos, los temas nunca envejecen, así que no importa el día. I hope you guys are doing great. Don't forget the chat. So we read our subscriptions and members chat in miamitvhd.com. And today is August 20th, 2025. How are you? Hola, Lucas, Byron. ¿Cómo están, amigos? Bienvenidos. And the YouTube chat, we do, these are live. So just make sure you check the date, you guys. We don't upload stuff saying that it's new and it's not. It's like I said yesterday, it's just that we always look the same. I'm always wearing the same stuff, so. Good evening, Brian from Dayton, Florida. Okay, let's start with today's topic because it's a little long and I'm gonna do my best to cover it in half an hour. If not, we might just kind of go a little bit more with it. Don't forget, if you have topics, you're more than welcome to send it. The social media that I use the most is Twitter, or X, I hate to call it that. Okay, so this is from Brock. Hello, my name, sorry, my name is, hi Brock, oh, it's you. Hi, I'm gonna read because I love these kind of topics, so I always put them as a priority. My name is Brock, and I'm the one who always likes to say hi when you start your nightly show. My dear wife asked me if I would ask you about the Merkaba energy field and its role within the human body. If you have time to treat it in one of your nightly topics, we would both greatly appreciate it and always looking forward to your show tonight. Thank you, I love it. You guys know that I love energy topics, so yes, please, any kind of questions that have to do with energy, bring them on, baby. Stay for more than 30 minutes. We'll see. Hi, Kevin. Welcome. Okay, so this actually got me to to research a little bit because I know everybody has a little bit of a different perspective in what how do you say this, like different phrases and names for these practices, but at the end they all speak the same language, the language of energy. All right, so I've heard of the Merkaba before, and then when I Googled it, I was like, oh yeah. So I'm gonna tell you what I know, but let's first, for those that don't know what it is, this is Google's response to it. The Merkaba, also spelled as Merkava, is a concept originating from ancient Jewish mysticism and embraced by various modern spiritual practices. It's often practiced as a three-dimensional star, I hope I say this right, tetrahedron shape formed by two interlocking tetrahdrons rotating in opposite directions, creating a powerful energy field around the person. This energy field, visualized as a spin in light or vehicle, is believed to facilitate spiritual ascension and expand consciousness. Sacred, this immediately went to my brain and said sacred geometry, right? All right, I get it. Sacred, this is rooted in sacred geometry, where geometry shapes are considered fundamental elements in the universe of energy field. So when I was introduced to sacred geometry, this maybe a few years back, I started getting in my Tantra groups, some of my students started seeing sacred geometry through their Tantra practices. And I noticed that it only happened to those that actually had a continuation with the practices and were really, let's say, involved in that spiritual path of awakening, where it wasn't just awakening, but it was also like, what else is there that I can find? And inevitably, it just connected them to this sacred geometry. They're like, Jenny, I'm starting to see geometry. Is that normal? And I'm like, I have no idea. So it's very few people that actually have been connected to this, and I think that it's something, I think it's the universe. I think that sacred geometry, in my experience, is just the universe and the way that we interpret it, the way that we see it, and with our telepathy, with our mind, with our consciousness. I believe that we also have sacred geometry inside of us. So just like in a nutshell, I believe that it's just energy, that is it's almost like saying like the little atoms, right? Or what is energy made of kind of thing, you know? And then you see geometry. So I've always been really bad at math. So I think that people that also have like a really good high mental capability of doing math really fast is because they're also connected to something higher. So numbers and geometry definitely have, I believe that they are like the language of the universe, if you might say, where it doesn't matter what kind of language you speak. You know, I said this a few weeks ago, and I was like, imagine if we were never taught to speak a language, like how could we communicate? And I think that our telepathy would be just to the level of really easy communication. Okay, so when I got introduced to this, and my mom then went to this like seminar where they were talking about sacred geometry, and the guy was saying, it's a really famous Hispanic guy. He was saying that this is something that only people that are multimillionaires do, and that they know the secret of sacred geometry, and that all the huge brands have sacred geometry symbolism in their brands, like Audi and MasterCard and this and that, and that they become very successful after. So there's a lot of rituals happening when it comes to these ideologies, because that's what I call them, ideologies. But at the end of the day, nothing is going to move if you're blocked. Nothing is going to move if your energy channel is not working properly. So at the end of the day, I guess we could say we should leave that for like the last minute, right? So when my mom came to me and started talking about sacred geometry, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm seeing this in my tantra, you know, exercises. So there's something there. And actually, I want you to try this now. If you close your eyes, okay, and I don't recommend this. Don't do this, okay? But if you ever close your eyes and you kind of just like put a little bit of pressure on your eyes, you should start seeing some light effect, okay? There was this guy once that gave me a massage, and at the end of the massage, he pressed on my eyes, and he's like, have you ever seen that before? I'm like, don't ever do that again. I'm like, that is really bad. Like, you're not supposed to press in your eyes. If you do it really gently, it's fine. But I'm like, yes, of course I've seen it. I'm like, that's the energy. So when I work with energy and I close my eyes, I start seeing these like waves, right? It's almost as if there were like circles that come out of my forehead, and just, I would like to call it third eye, but who knows if that's where it is. And they start creating this geometry. And when there's a lot of energy being manipulated, like let's say I do like a really crazy session or for a really intense cause, I can actually see it with my eyes open. Like I see these geometry images that are happening around us, that they're everywhere. It's very rare. It's not something that I can say like I see it all the time. It only happens when I've pushed my channel up to the limit, right? And it's like I'm super connected, and you see these images, this geometry. So you can connect with that, and that is what I like to say, that is your ultimate connection to the universe, all right? That is your channel just completely open to receive energy. Now, I went ahead and asked my beautiful 27 meditators, and they went ahead and responded this, and I want to read you this, all right? This was like about a year and a half ago or two. They call it Vesica Pisces. I want you to look that up. The Vesica Pisces is a numeral chain based on the totems of Pythagoras. It's in Spanish, sorry, the Pythagorean totems. The resultum is 13 numbers that come out in a miraculous code. And what happens is that people that go ahead and cling on to these numbers and start asking wishes with the images of these, I guess you could say geometries and algorithms, sometimes they obtain a result. All right, that was the response. But you need to know this. The results are generated by the energy that the person has. The relationship with the Vesica Pisces is just applying those algorithms and pieces so that it seems that it actually emphasizes the energy more of what you are requesting. So I actually did try in some of my meditations doing some of these meditations where you start to imagine yourself in, it's a pyramid, right? So at the beginning, I should get the actual, I'm gonna ask my mom to see if she has like the actual thing so I could give it to you guys and you guys can try. So you're supposed to imagine yourself in like a three-point pyramid, right? And you're going inside of it and you start seeing the walls of the pyramids with the wish that you want. So if you're imagining yourself, I don't know, being a successful singer or writer, or being with your family in a vacation somewhere. I mean, these kind of things are usually done for like big projects, but you could do it for anything. After there's a step of 7, if I'm remembering correctly. So after going inside of that triangle, you imagine yourself going into another one that has, it's like a hexagon, right? And from then you go to the next one and the next one until it's like a really, really large piece of metal, I guess we would call it, where in every single side of that image, right, you're seeing that vision of yourself being successful and you're feeling it. So in a way, it's kind of like you're using the law of attraction with the mixture of geometry and sacred geometry in this case, and you're multiplying these wishes into different phases until you surround yourself with this image. Now, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to always say, if you do this and your energy is high, then you're going to get results. But if you do this, and I feel like a lot of people fall into this trap, right, where they go into these seminars, just like, for example, my mom, they go into these seminars because they just have nothing else to do. And they've gone to like hundreds of seminars already. It's like, this is going to change my life. And they come home and it's the same. Because it's that motivation that you get from these seminars, right? That you get them for like maybe a week or two, and then your life just kind of goes back to normal. There's a really few amount of people that follow through with the real instructions into amplify, into putting the works that they learned at a seminar into their everyday life, and they get results. But for the most part, people don't do that. When they have their 9-to-5 job, they don't have time to continue with those classes or indications that they learned at some seminars. So a lot of people that just go online and read about this, it's just like, okay, let me try it. And then they start trying it, and maybe after like a week or a month, they end up they end up just giving up because they don't see results. So I like to just think, don't make it so as it's not that big of a deal. If you are generating positive energy, that's the beauty of energy. It all falls back to that. So if you are happy in your marriage, if you are smiling most of your day, if you are sharing that smile and that joy with other people and generating more positive energy even, you're going to get whatever you want. That's just the way that the universe works. Now, if you want something, let's say that you're already positive, right? And everything's already great, but you have this really crazy project crazy in a good way, right? You have this project that you would really like to send energy towards, then what I'm going to tell you is definitely try one of these meditations, but add the twist of sexual energy. Okay, especially if you're in a relationship. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to use the pleasure, which the pleasure is basically your elevation and energy, okay, to aim it towards those goals, imagining yourself in that triangle and then pentagon and hexagon and so on and so forth. And then the moment after you see yourself in that image, the moment that your partner helps you reach an orgasm, you are going to be exposing that orgasm towards your goal, all right? Now, some people say that when you're using the energy for a purpose, it has to be, like if the project is the females, then the male has to cause the orgasm to the female, and vice versa if the project is, the other way around. I don't agree with that. I think that the energy is done in pairs so that the woman is the one that actually expels the energy all the time. So the woman's job is to absorb her husband's energy, right? Absorb, fill up her channel, and then when the time is ready, explode it out to the universe. So if you both have a common goal and you think of this common goal before you start this practice, because this isn't going to be just a regular practice, this is going to be something that you're meditating beforehand, that you're taking your time into both putting your mind into this goal and saying literally, like, I want this energy that we're going to generate to only go towards this goal. And then you're not going to think about it the whole time. You're going to think about it at the beginning. Sorry, and you're going to think about it a little bit at the end. So when you get to the point where that the orgasm happens, that energy is going to go specifically towards that goal. And God, I'm dying here. And depending on how difficult that goal is how fast you're going to get results. So if it's a really like far-fetched goal that you know you can make, but it's just going to take time to do it. And I'm going to give an example. Like, we've been after something for a year and a half now. Yesterday, the day of our anniversary, we finally finalized it. And I can say that this is something that we do practice, and it does work. All right, not so much the Vesica Pisces thing, but just the focusing your goals together and putting the effort into sending energy out towards one specific thing. And it's incredible the results that you get. So if you're not in a relationship, then your energy is going to be halfway there. But you still have energy, so you could still try it. But this is mainly for couples. This is mainly for marriages, all right? Couples that can try this out and not be so shy about it. And yes, you have so much energy to generate that all you have to do is have a set goal in mind, so you could put yourself into that equation of sending energy just for that idea. Because imagine and look at it this way: when you don't think about what you want, the energy's gonna go all over the place. It's gonna be great because it's gonna help you in your health. It's gonna help you in your everyday life. It's gonna help you in things just happening. But when you need a specific thing being done, you need to fuel it. And you have the fuel. And most of the fuel you are generating throughout the day just by being near your partner, by hugging, by kissing, by smiling, by doing things together. All right. So you don't necessarily have to have, intercourse. It's a constant generation of energy that you're going to be aiming towards something in particular. You wake up, you think about what you want. You go to sleep, you think about what you want. But specifically, all right, babe, we're doing a ritual. So this week, we're going to aim energy towards this project, and you are together, you are making love, you're generating energy, but it's specifically for that goal. Now, where one of the things that should be also kept in mind, and I remember this from this other guy that does explain about this as well, and I agree. I can't remember his name. If not, I would share it. But he used to say that the moment that you're generating this energy and imagining yourself in the Vesica Pisces, or imagining yourself in that sacred geometry, that the male should not have an orgasm. And I actually do agree with that, because the male's job is actually to channel energy for the woman. All right, so the woman is the one that's going to amplify, and the woman is the one that's going to send the energy towards the goals. Now, if the man does have an orgasm, then the woman needs to ingest this energy. All right, and then amplify it. So it's kind of long, I'm not going to sit here and give you like a whole, workshop on it. But it is doable, it is possible, and it does work. So if you are interested in any of that, I actually do training sessions for couples when it comes to sexual energy. And yeah, it changes your life. Let me tell you, like, we're talking about anything. We're talking about, like, you have an illness, or something came up in your life, right, that you need to fix, and you use the energy correctly, and yeah, that's it. It's kind of like snapping your fingers. It's fixed. Some things take longer than others, but you can do it, and that's the most important thing. Now, for the most part, people don't ever think of sexual energy and spirituality, like I always say, right? So they read on this, they read on sacred geometry, they read on the Vesica Pisces, and they do the meditations. Is it going to work? Yeah, why not? I mean, it might work for little things. It might work for, like, I'm, you know, I don't know, focusing on getting a job, or you're focusing on something small, right? But the big goals, the company goals, you know, the ones that you know take the energy of a lot of people to either approve or disapprove what you're about to do, that takes more energy. So yeah. Why do people fall in love? All right, let's go up, guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can read you. ¿Cómo están? Bueno, estábamos hablando de la Vesica Piscis. Una persona, no me quiero derivar muchísimo porque sí es un tema un poquito largo, entonces hoy no voy a estar leyendo tanto el chat, pero espero poder, ¿saben que no puedo leer los chats cuando termino el programa? Ok, alguien preguntaba, mi esposa pregunta si tú sabes sobre la energía del Merkaba y cómo tiene que ver con el cuerpo del ser humano y cómo tratarla. Entonces yo les voy a leer rápidamente una parte de cuando a mí me introducieron al tema de la geometría sagrada. En ese momento yo estaba haciendo grupos de tantra, tenía estudiantes, ¿no? Les estaba enseñando cómo generar energía sexual a través del tantra, y solamente las personas que realmente tenían una dedicación constante en el movimiento de su energía sexual son las que llegaron a tener ese resultado de decirme, Jenny, hoy vi geometría sagrada, y yo, ¿qué es eso? No, o sea, porque todo lo que yo he aprendido pues es con la experiencia de hacerlo, no porque lo leí en un libro o porque me lo dijeron. Entonces inmediatamente fui y pues les pregunté a mis meditadores, digo, porque también yo lo había visto, lo venía viendo hace mucho, que es cuando ves la energía en geometría, o sea, básicamente, y pueden probarlo, donde apenitas como que empujan un poquito en sus ojos o empujan, o cuando se hacen así en los ojos para brotarse, que dicen que no es bueno, y van a ver como unos destellos de luz. No es bueno hacer eso, pero bueno, la próxima vez si lo hacen, recuerden de estar pendientes y van a ver que son como ondas de luz que sale de sus ojos y las pueden ver. Entonces yo llegué hasta un punto donde las veía, o sea, de vez en cuando si estoy haciendo alguna terapia o estoy haciendo una canalización de energía muy fuerte, sí me ha tocado con los ojos abiertos verla alrededor mío y es como que ¡wow! Y si no, en situaciones donde me salgo del cuerpo, donde estoy en una meditación muy profunda, pero específicamente cuando hay un movimiento de moléculas muy grande. Entonces esto ya es como algo que no te puedo decir de que el día de mañana vas a ver la geometría sagrada. No, requiere tiempo y dedicación que no todo el mundo tiene. Entonces sí funciona. Si ustedes se toparon con información de hacer meditaciones con la geometría sagrada, sí funciona, pero no va a funcionar si ustedes están bloqueados, no va a funcionar si necesitan limpiarse, no va a funcionar si necesitan, o sea, si hay alguna parte de su cuerpo que tiene traumas o bloqueos que no han sanado. Entonces vas a tener, por eso tanta gente se queda como en el camino, ¿no? Porque intentan y dicen, ay, pero fui a este seminario y me enseñaron a hacer estas meditaciones donde mi mamá fue a uno, por ejemplo, donde le enseñaban a meterse en un triángulo. Y decían, bueno, vas a entrar en el triángulo, les voy a buscar la meditación y se las voy a pasar por si les interesa. Vas a entrar en el triángulo, te vas a imaginar entonces de que en cada una de las paredes del triángulo te estás viendo con la imagen de tu, ¿cómo se llama? De tu propósito, ¿no? O sea, de la meta que tengas. Y luego de ese triángulo, una vez que ya lo vives y wow, es como la ley de la atracción, pero agregándole la geometría. De ahí sigues adelante, entras en uno con más puntas y más puntas hasta llegar creo que a unos 7 o algo así. Quizás al octágono, quién sabe. La verdad ahora no me acuerdo, porque no soy de hacer este tipo de meditaciones, pero conozco personas que lo hacen y según también hay teorías de que hay grandes personas multimillonarias que utilizan esto y de que la Vesica Piscis y la geometría sagrada es incluida en algunos de los logotipos, como por ejemplo Mastercard o Audi, para hablar de algunos, y todos tienen esto, ¿no? Así que sí hay mucha información de eso, pero no les va a funcionar si ustedes no están abiertos del todo en energía. Lo que les voy a leer rápidamente la parte que dijeron los meditadores y continúo. La Vesica Piscis es una cadena numeral basada en los teoremas de Pitágoras. El resultante es de 13 números que serían un código milagroso. ¿Será por eso que no hay pisos 13 en los edificios? Siempre me pregunté, ¿no? Son cosas muy raras. Is that why there isn't any 13th floor in any like buildings? It's the 13, the number 13. There's something about that number that they say, my meditators say it's a miraculous number. Sucede que quienes se aferran a pedir deseos sobre esos algoritmos, a veces obtienen un resultado, pero debes saber que los resultados los genera la misma energía. Ellos siempre terminan en la energía, así como yo les enseño a ustedes. Lo relacionado con la Vésica Piscis es que empleando esos algoritmos pareciese que enfatiza la energía sobre lo solicitado. Entonces, al fin del cabo, pues, ¿qué vino primero, el huevo o la gallina, no? Primero trabajar en uno mismo para llegar a estar limpio, con un canal abierto y limpio y puro, para luego entonces tener más resultados con esas meditaciones. Pero yo siempre les voy a decir lo siguiente, si ustedes quieren tener realmente un cambio, porque creo que ese tipo de meditaciones y el tema de la energía sexual también, una vez que después terminas de hacer todo tu trayecto de limpieza energética y estás, específicamente para aquellos de ustedes que están mirando, si están en una pareja, en una relación estable hace mucho tiempo y se aman, ¿ok? Pueden hacer ese tipo de meditaciones, incluyendo el tema de la geometría sagrada, y van a tener mucho más resultado que personas que no tienen amor, porque ustedes de por sí tienen la base de la energía. Entonces, es tan simple como decir, bueno, antes de empezar, vamos a hacer una meditación juntos, vamos a pensar en lo que deseamos. Quizás el hombre en la pareja tiene una meta que quiere enviar energía a esa meta, o la mujer tiene una meta en que quiere enviar energía a esa meta, pero siempre va a ser el hombre el que le entrega la energía a la mujer la absorbe y luego la expande. ¿Okay? Entonces, esto no es una situación de vamos a hacer relaciones para sacarnos las ganas. ¿Okay? Esto es realmente, ahí es donde entra pues también el juego del tantra, es realmente hacer una conexión consciente, ¿okay? Una conexión donde sienten la energía que se está generando, están visualizando que esa energía está yendo hacia esos proyectos, que los está haciendo exitosos, y al final del todo pues también terminarlo con una meditación donde están como que viviendo como las meditaciones de la ley de la atracción, donde viven que ya tienen lo que desean, pero con toda esa energía que acaban de enviar hacia ese tema. Entonces, yo hago cursos de esto, entonces no quiero como que dar toda la información porque sí es un poco delicada, pero si a alguien le interesa, pues aquí estamos en Tulum y para eso se construyó este hermoso lugar de cabañas que se llama Energy Tulum, para justamente entrenar a la gente para que aprenda a utilizar su energía sexual y bueno, pues es el máximo potencial, porque le llamamos así, pero en realidad es solamente el movimiento de moléculas y endorfinas en el cuerpo, el no desperdiciarlo cuando no hace falta. Hay momentos donde tienes que saber de que si te sientes de cierta forma, pues tienes que ahorrar energía, ¿ok? Ok, vamos ahora sí a ver si puedo responderles algo y lo dejo un poco más corto en español. All right, guys, let me go up in the chat because I know you guys had a lot of questions. So I'm going to try to stay around the topics that we had. Los ojos emiten energía. Cuando miramos a alguien le damos energía. Lucas, ¿viste que dicen que los ojos son la ventana al alma? Literal. Yo les puedo mostrar una foto mía cuando tenía 19 años y les muestro una foto ahora. Es otra persona, o sea, soy otra persona y yo me miro los ojos y es como que, claro, era el demonio que tenía dentro. O sea, literal. Sí, y hay personas que llegan a estar tan negativizados que no te van a mirar a los ojos, ¿no? Somebody said, do eyes emanate energy when you speak to someone and look at them in the eyes? Do they emanate energy? I don't know, look at my eyes. Do you feel anything? A ver, mírenme a los ojos. You know, I remember when I was 19, I saw a picture of it a few years back and I was like, oh my God, like, that's not me. And I was like, right, it's the demon I had inside of me. And yeah, people, your eyes totally change when they say that the soul is the window to you, the eyes are the windows to your soul. It's actually true. Yes, absolutely. There's people that stop looking at others in their eyes because they're ashamed. They have something to hide. All right, when you are direct, you know, a lot of people get intimidated. I've actually gotten that from a lot of people. Jenny, you intimidate me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Like, it's just, And then, or sometimes I'll get emails of people that like saw me somewhere and they're like, I really wanted a picture and I didn't dare to ask you because you're intimidated. And I'm like, how? Like, I'm gonna say yes, but yeah, sorry. Okay, hello, thank you. Okay, I'm looking for topics, guys, because if not, we kind of fill the show with regular comments. No, vamos a mover. Estoy tratando de agarrar los que son temáticos, porque de lo contrario, pues sí se va el tema. Ok, chicos, bueno, nos vemos entonces en la próxima, ya que sí, no me voy a poner a leer todos los comentarios. Let's see, is whatever you have on something that we may have seen back in the 70s? No, back in 2020, yes, maybe. This is a really old dress. All right, loves. Geometry was never really my strength. Buenas noches, ¿cómo estamos? Saludos. Hello, guys. All right, I will see you tomorrow, same time. And I know it was a little bit a quick through, quick through the comment, but I think you got it. I think you understood. You don't need to do much if you have love in your life. Don't worry, just make sure you're generating more love. And by that, I'm not saying physically, I just mean in everything that you do, every day, with who you're with, all right? That's the important thing. That's what generates what we call social energy. And that is the energy that will make sure everything in your life is covered so that you never have to worry about anything again. Muy bien, amigos, entonces no se olviden que si tienen pues amor en su vida, eso es lo más importante, que estén confiando en esa energía que están generando todos los días, y más aún si están en una relación, enfóquense en generar energía positiva constante, y no estoy hablando físicamente, estoy hablando con todas las acciones que tienen hacia uno y hacia el otro todos los días. Eso genera lo que al final es energía social, y es lo que hace de que nunca tengas problemas de nada. Nos vemos mañana. See you tomorrow, loves. Don't forget to subscribe to MiamiTVHD.com if you want to see all of our past shows. Bye-bye.